Welcome to Daily Dose Radio, a 5-minute devotional podcast studying the Psalms verse by verse. Broadcast from the ever-beautiful Sharonville, Ohio, on the sunny side of Cincinnati. Hey, welcome back to Daily Dose Radio. This is your home for that farm-to-table fresh feel. You know, you get that right here on Daily Dose Radio. Today we're looking at verses 11 through 13 in Psalm 79. If you have your Bible, why don't you open up there with me, and we'll be reading 11, 12, and 13 today. Psalm 79. Let the sighing of the prisoner come before thee. According to the greatness of thy power, preserve thou those that are appointed to die. And render unto our neighbors sevenfold into their bosom their reproach, wherewith they have reproached thee, O Lord. So we thy people and the sheep of thy pasture will give thanks forever. We will show forth thy praise to all generations. There you have 11 through 13. Let the sighing of the prisoner come before thee. Now there is the 8th request. We've had 7 so far. This is number 8. The sighing of the prisoner. Now we understand it, don't we? Because Jerusalem's been sacked. The people have been killed, and certainly there have been some that have been carried off. If this does reflect the Babylonian captivity, then we know what's happened to them. They've been put on a slave line, chain that runs between each individual, usually hooked to some sort of a flesh hook or something that's gone through the jaw or through the nose or something. And so they're on this slave line, and they're being marched back to wherever the oppressors are from. Let the sighing of the prisoner come before thee is understandable here when we're asking for deliverance. And he's asked for deliverance in verse 9. Now we come to the 9th request. According to the greatness of thy power, preserve thou those that are appointed to die. Again, we're asking for deliverance. We're asking for the prisoner to be relieved, and we're asking for those appointed to die, that God would preserve them. Deliverance is the request, and God is the one who's being asked to bring this kind of specific salvation to the people. And you know, it's one thing to pray for salvation. It's another thing to get real specific about it. And that's exactly what the psalmist does here for us. Lets us know that this kind of praying can be right down where the rubber meets the road. This is that kind of real-life prayer. This is not some sort of pious prayer with, some sort of a spiritual equation kind of praying. That's not what we're talking about here. This is a prayer that is real and is asking for a real thing. And then the 10th request is, we go back to our imprecatory piece, render unto our neighbors sevenfold into their bosom their reproach, wherewith they have reproached thee, O Lord. The neighbor, he was mentioned back in, where was that? We had the neighbor mentioned there in verse 4. We are become a reproach to our neighbors. Well, now the neighbor has been prayed about. And render unto our neighbors their reproach, wherewith they reproach thee. So this is not about what they did to us. This is about what they did to thee, O Lord. And then we end with verse 13. So we, thy people, the sheep of thy pasture, will give thee thanks forever. We will show forth thy praise to all generations. So the people, because of God's deliverance, because he has rescued the prisoner and he's preserved the life of those who are appointed to die, and because he has brought them deliverance and purged away sin, and he hasn't remembered their iniquities any longer, but instead he has allowed mercy and the honor or glory of his name to rule the day. These people now, what are they doing? They're going to give thanks forever, and they're going to give praise forever, or to all generations. How beautiful. So I hope you'll pray this prayer. Use some of these requests in your praying. And I'll see you next time as we study Psalm 80 on Daily Dose Radio. Hey there, friends. Just wanted to remind you to go out and get yourself a copy of my new book, Christianity to the Life, by Cotton Mather, edited by me, David Smith. You can find it at Amazon. It's a paperback. It's also in Kindle form, so you can get it for your Kindle or you can get it for your library at home, however you'd like to have it. If you do, I really would appreciate if you would write a review after reading it. Let me know what you think. And it's a really good book. It'll encourage your Christian walk with the Lord. So go out and get Christianity to the Life today on Amazon. Thanks for listening to Daily Dose Radio. I'm David Smith. The music today has been performed by the Bluegrass Experiment. Thanks again for listening. I'll see you next time on Daily Dose Radio.